Let's talk about 2019, the movies which spawned 2019's most cursed movie trailers.
Oh boy.
Cats and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh my god.
First off, cats. That's
Cats.
why we need our heated gamer water for when we get.
Oh.
Now I don't know. When did you see Cats?
I saw Cats over Christmas break.
As well as I did. I
think I saw Cats either on Christmas or the day after Christmas.
You poor, poor soul. I saw Cats like a few days before I moved down to Austin for school. So like early January.
Oh man.
And I posted on my Instagram a sick picture of Jason Derulo cat being very Jason Derulo-y, and I said review coming soon for Cats, and then I never made a review. So this is
Rum-Tum Tiger.
Was that his name?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I now know all of the cats'
cat.
names
Ugh.
because I've been indoctrinated into the madness.
So
if you wanna know my thoughts on the Cats movie, I made
a lengthy.
I made a lengthy Instagram post like I do
Kirk.
all of my posts.
Plug your Instagram.
My Instagram is at _Captain_Kirk.
Captain with the K.
Spelled with a K.
Well, as in K. Rool.
Yeah, like
Kirk.
like
you're
the K. Rool.
You're basically the humanized form of K. Rool.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't know if I like that.
If I drew fan art of human K. Rool and gave him a lot of facial hair, I feel like
human K. Rool would have a lot of facial hair though.
Yes.
Despite the fact that he is in fact a lizard.
Yes. But anyway, Cats. I don't know about what your screening was like, but when I saw it, the movie had already been out for a little bit, so everybody knew how trash it was.
Oh, I went into this knowing it was trash.
I mean, I think everybody knew just from the trailers, but I don't know if you've ever gone and seen Rocky Horror Picture Show or like The Room in a movie theater. Any of those movie theater experiences where everybody
you have to go to the movie to watch it.
Yes, and it's like everybody's just there to riff. That's basically what happened with my Cats showing. I show up and I'm like, me and my friends are like, okay, what seats are taken? And the only seats is basically the entire back row. And I'm like, an entire group of people sitting in the back row together. I get the feeling they're not here to appreciate the musical marvel of Cats. And we go into the theater and they're like talking up there during the previews, and then the Universal logo shows up and they're like singing along to the jingle. Da, 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 da. I think that's 20th Century Fox, but who cares? Is it? I don't know.
It's the ba 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 da da bum bum.
Yeah, that's 20th Century Fox. The one I was singing was Universal. Or
that's 20th Century. The one you were singing was 20th Century.
Okay.
The Universal one is the one with the drums.
So they're up there singing along, and then like one song happens and somebody's like, "Can we leave now?" So that I knew the whole group in the back was there to like shit.
They were hostage. They were held hostage by cats, not allowed to leave until they deemed it worthy.
It was an interesting theater experience because I didn't have to worry about like making too much noise or whatever. It was just like take it in. Just take it in. You can react with "Oh God" as much as you want.
Fear.
Was your movie-going experience like this?
My movie-going experience. There were some jeers, there were some laughs, there was some singing along. My movie-going experience involved a lot of alcohol.
Oh yes. See, I went in sober, so
you see that's the problem.
How much do you remember? I do remember all the cats' names.
I remember it didn't have a plot.
No, there's no plot.
Do not think that just because they added a cat specifically to give this movie a plot,
yes,
that this movie actually has a plot.
It's basically added to be like the audience surrogate, but no,
it still doesn't have a plot.
Yes,
they tried hard to give it a plot and they failed. I give it an F.
The original musical and the movie have zero plot. They're basically just like, hello, I'm a cat. I'm Jason Derulo cat, and I'm singing a song about myself.
I have a weird bodysuit on that makes me that you can't tell if I am more human or more cat.
Never was there ever.
That was
a
probably
cat so clever as magical Mr.
That was probably like the best number though.
Probably. Well, I mean, except like the emotional ballad number that wasn't just I'm a cat. Hello, I'm a cat.
Maybe I'm just like that does nothing for me because
the problem with that number is every time that character, so the Jennifer Hudson character, whatever her cat's name was, every time she shows up, the movie does like a tonal 180 and stops trying to be like fun and starts trying to be like a serious musical, and
lots of close-ups on her face. On her horrible CGI cat face.
I will say
she has probably the best CGI cat face.
They improved the CGI on her a lot between the movie and the first trailer. In the first trailer, she had some of the worst CGI of any of them, and it was like, it was unfinished. Like, I mean, the whole movie's unfinished.
The whole movie's still unfinished.
But her in the first trailer literally looked like a deep fake.
Oh, man. Like, and going from the best song, the worst song is probably the Rebel Wilson song with those ever changing the ever changing size scale where these cats are like large enough that they can like hold a mouse in their paw.
That was peak fear because
and cockroaches are like the size of
because it's not just the cats that have creepy human morph bodies. The mice and the cockroaches in that song
are probably the worst.
Oh god.
The cockroaches are like the size of the mouse in this movie. Yes. And the mouse can fit in the person's hand.
And the cats the cats just eat the mice and cockroaches sometimes. And everybody has a human face. So it's very like existentially disturbing.
It makes you wonder what a dog would look like in this universe.
Oh god.
Or any other animal.
Yeah, it leads down to a whole I was expecting a lot of fear in cats, but the one thing that I got that I was not expecting was other animals in the horrifying cat's CGI design. And that was probably peak fear.
Very much so.
I think the ironic entertainment value for me pretty much ended after the scene where James Corden shows up and he's playing
the fat cat.
The fat cat. I feel like his name
don't remember his
Fat
name.
Cat or something.
It was like
and he sings a whole ass song that literally ends in him and all the other cats rummaging through trash, eating it and throwing it behind them.
Eating literal garbage.
Yes. And
it looks like literal garbage.
And I just turned to my friend and I'm like, if this doesn't sum up the entire movie, this shot of James Corden shoveling trash into his face while he throws other trash behind him for other cat monstrosities to eat, nothing does.
While his CGI belly jiggles and bounces.
God. That song also like stops at one point for him to deliver a classic James Corden comedy bit, which of course isn't funny because it's James
Corden witty dialogues is his way into Smash.
Oh god. Oh god.
Oh god.
I really, really hate James Corden. I'm like he's not funny.
I feel bad for the 500 different. I feel bad for like the 20 big A-list celebrities that they roped into this movie.
Oh god. Well, of course James Corden and Rebel Wilson are this movie's idea of comedic relief.
Absolutely.
Possibly the worst two picks, but here we are. I was telling my friends this, Hollywood every couple years they pick a new
funny man and then they run them into the ground.
No, they pick a new for women specifically, and this is a shame. Every couple years they pick a new overweight woman to have be the new comedic fat female comedian. And then they run them into the ground and then pick a new one. First there was Amy Schumer, and then Melissa McCarthy, and now Rebel Wilson is the new one. Hollywood does not allow themselves to have more than one fat actress.
Hollywood says no fatties allowed unless you're a comedian.
Yeah.
In which case, only one.
Only one.
We're only taking one whatever at the time.
Yeah.
One selection at the time.
It's really bad.
It's not great.
But I think after James Corden's scene, there was a distinct feeling for me
of boring.
that boring. There was a feeling that I'm like, you know, I don't think anything else in the movie is going to top anything I've seen so far. And I think the next song after that was like these two alley cats or whatever. That was their name.
Rumple Teaser and Mungo Jerry.
Yes, that's where I went to the bathroom. That's where I went to the bathroom.
That was probably the best song
because
of the movie,
it wasn't celebrities singing it. And I was like, you know what? The ironic value dies at that point.
I actually kind of like that number, but I was also dead earlier in the movie.
Yes.
So like it was hard. It was like that gave me a little bit of energy.
Yeah, I'm not even necessarily commentating on the quality of that number. I'm just saying that like the ironic value goes away at that point, and then comes back at the end for a little bit when Taylor Swift shows up.
Oh my God,
as,
Taylor
like,
Swift with
Idris
her weird,
Elba's sexy cat henchman.
Like weirdly sexual cat henchman.
Yeah.
Like she's got like one singular cat boob that jiggles and bounces around.
Well, and then
like it's a fucking she's a fucking anime character.
And then Idris Elba joins her.
Oh, but that was the moment when I said fear.
Yeah, that's very fear.
Because he has like this like skin tight like barely any fur on it.
Well, okay, and it's
cat bodysuit.
Because every other scene before that, he's wearing like a coat and a hat and this stuff. So he's the least terrifying of the cats.
Even though he's supposed to be the villain.
Yeah. Well, okay, I also really liked him in the movie because I felt
he was hamming it up.
He was the only actor aware of how stupid the movie was, I feel. All the others were really, like Ian McKellen and
Ian McKellen looks like
Ian McKellen was like trying so hard, and I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, Ian McKellen looks like they said like you're not getting off of the set until you give us a real performance.
He looks miserable. He looks like he's trying so hard, but he just seems miserable, like he's about to die.
Yeah.
It's really sad. Ian McKellen has never felt so old.
And then Helen Mirren has like probably
Helen Mirren?
I don't know. Whoever she is.
Whoever Angela Lansbury, whatever.
She has the worst CGI of them all.
Yeah, and she was also trying way too hard.
Her face is just like it's a cat body, and then her face is.
She's also the one I feel like
is CGI layered onto it.
She's the one I feel like they finished the least because in certain shots you can see her wedding ring, like the actress's wedding ring. So they just like did not like she is the least finished of the CG stuff.
I'm a little bothered by the fact that our main character has like really prominent red lips. When like they're cats.
Yeah.
And cats don't really have, prominent lips.
Oh, you know who else was trying way too hard? Jason Derulo. Why was he trying so hard? He's not an actor.
He was trying so hard for this bit part.
He was trying so hard to be like an actual sexy cat.
Yeah. Oh man, oh man.
But it's like Idris Elba was I was enjoying him when he would pop up in the early parts of the movie because he was wearing clothes, so he wasn't terrifying.
Yet
his acting was hammy, was the appropriate level of hammy for the stupid movie he's in, and like he was also like taking all the most annoying characters and plopping them into a side story.
Right.
So like that helped. Like right after, I'm sure we're not.
Yeah, no,
we're close to.
Yeah, we got we're at 16 minutes.
Yeah, but it's like right after James Corden's song, Idris Elba shows up and kidnaps him. So it's like, cool, he's not in the movie anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like I was rooting for him, and then he shows up with the outfit gone, and he goes from being the least terrifying
to the
cat
most
creation
terrifying.
to the most terrifying. It feels like you're watching. I think especially because he had clothes on earlier, so you have a comparison point, it feels like you're watching him dance around naked.
Yeah.
With also naked
without any like genitalia or like body definition.
Fear.
Which only makes it more terrifying because you know it's supposed to be there, but it's not.
Yep. Fear. And then, so that, I don't really remember what happened in the movie after that point.
He kidnaps the main lady, Magical Mr. Mistopheles.
Magical Mr. Mistopheles saves them.
And then they
never was there. Yeah.
And then they sacrifice Jennifer Hudson Cat to their weird
she's the Jellicle
heavy
cat.
side layer cult.
They have they talk about Jellicle cats the whole time, but they never even attempt to explain what a Jellicle is.
I watched an interview on it because I went to an Alamo Draft House and they made us watch one. A Jellicle cat originally just meant any cat that is like pure black, pure white, or a mix of black and white.
All right.
And then
they do not explain that at all.
And then in Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical, he just decided it to be any cat is a Jellicle cat.
Okay, so they're all Jellicle cats.
Yes.
Then why was there all this bullshit about? Oh, well, the lead character's not a Jellicle cat. We gotta indoctrinate her into the Jellicle cult.
To be a Jellicle cat, you have to believe you're a Jellicle cat. And the problem is, she didn't believe she was a Jellicle cat.
Well, I don't believe that this movie exists. I still don't believe.
And yet they still keep in the line about Jellicle cats needing to be black or white.
They do. I didn't notice that. I was probably zoned out.
They talk so much about Jellicle cats.
They really do. They're like, Jellicle cat. Jellicle cats have Jellicles too.
There's at least 3 different full numbers just about being Jellicle cats. And they never explain what a Jellicle cat is.
I just kept turning to my friends and going, what the fuck is a Jellicle? What the fuck is a Jellicle? I probably said that like 5 times. Even at the very end of the movie.
The ending of the movie is the most insane thing ever.
Oh my god, the last scene. So they're sending Jennifer Hudson into the sky, and then after they do that, you're like, okay, it's over now. It's over, right?
And then,
please end.
And then
Helen Mirren or whoever.
She turns to face the audience.
She turns to the camera and just starts singing her own song that climaxes in the line, "A cat is not a dog." And then she sings "A cat is not a dog" like 10 more times. And at this point, I'm leaning forward in my chair like, end, movie, end! Why is this still happening? What is going on? And the last number just keeps going. And then I think the last line is like, "A cat is not a dog" again, or something.
It is insane.
And I'm just like,
and then it ends with like them all like on their either on their hindquarters or like rearing up. Tails wagging. There's a weird sexual energy throughout the entire movie. Fear. You know what movie didn't inspire fear, though?
Not as much as I was expecting, anyway.
Scary movie.
I thought you were going to say Sonic the Hedgehog 2020.
No, Sonic the Hedgehog has its own brand.
Sonic the Hedgehog has its
fear.
own moments of fear. Let's talk about that one first.
Let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog.
We shouldn't have quite as much horrifying things to say about that as
I've already given a post about it. He's already given a post about it.
Did I post about it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
We talked about how Dr. Eggman has definitely committed war crimes.
Yes, Dr. Robotnik. Okay, so this movie is like, the more I think about it, the more I enjoy it, which is not something I expected to ever say about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Yeah.
It's probably the best. It's easily the best use of the fictional character comes to real world and goes on crazy hijinks with human character stories.
Absolutely. Like think like Alvin and the Chipmunks,
the Smurfs.
Let's see, Hop,
except Hop,
Yogi Bear, basically any live action cartoon.
Sonic the Hedgehog easily outshines all of those.
Although that's also
that being said, that is a very, very low bar.
Yeah, I would say that this movie is okay, verging on good. It's not great. It's not terrible. It could have easily slid into terrible.
If they kept the old design, it would be terrible. Because a lot of the movie is riding on like Sonic as a character
and whether or not you actually
with James Marsden
and whether or not you actually sympathize with him.
Yes, and if he looks terrifying,
so much harder to sympathize with a creepy, uncanny valley looking Sonic.
Yeah,
as opposed to the more cartoony.
I think they did a pretty good job capturing Sonic in this movie. He's not like.
Yeah.
You know.
How long is it?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Okay.
Where is it?
I thought it was 21 minutes.
Oh, okay.
We got time.
He's not like a fully fledged, fully developed Sonic. He's a child Sonic.
Yeah.
And I'd like the movie finds a way to have the it kind of finds a way to have its cake and eat it too, because it plops him into the real world, like movies like Smurfs or whatever.
But also hasn't
been there for long enough that he can make pop culture references.
And that's also a good way of explaining why his pop culture references
are sometimes really bad.
Because he's only ever learned pop culture via osmosis from like watching the screen of the main character.
There are a lot of zingers in this movie,
and like
I'd say half of them are. I'd say like maybe 25% are great, half are good, and then like 25% are just eh. Like, and even the ones that are like barely, like not really good zingers are passable because none of the actors are phoning it in.
Yeah.
Even like the human...
Everyone is trying their hardest. And Jim Carrey is trying especially hard.
Oh, yes. Even the human character that is Sonic's friend, who normally that's like the most boring character in these kinds of movies.
Yeah.
But James Marsden actually had like legitimate chemistry with Sonic and with his wife character.
So you actually kind of like...
so you like the humans enough.
You actually see them... You like them enough that you actually want to see them like manage to get out of this unscathed.
And you don't mind that they're... And the movie doesn't spend too much time on them.
No.
So I never found myself being like, oh god, these human characters are so boring. Please go back to Sonic.
Which would have been hilarious if they had original Sonic.
Please go back to Sonic. Wait,
no, I'll take it back.
In that universe, we'd just be asking for the movie to go back to Jim Carrey at all times.
Yeah.
Because Jim Carrey is easily the standout of this.
He's giving it all, but he's also not giving a single fuck.
Yes, it's like insane 90s Jim Carrey energy, but I feel like it's slightly different in that he puts a little bit of a, like, usually 90s crazy
he puts a more menacing edge on it.
Yes, he puts a more menacing edge on it. He amplifies because there's always a certain element of douchiness to his crazy characters.
Yeah.
But with this, I feel like, and some of it works because he's older.
Yeah.
Like, I think if this were a 90s Jim Carrey in his, like, 30s, it would be harder to buy him.
Because you kind of like the fact that he's kind of going against what's normal.
Yes.
But and there's also like this understanding that like his characters often don't exist in reality.
Yeah.
But Eggman does exist in reality. He just doesn't seem to care.
He just doesn't give a fuck that like about what anybody else's concepts for reality are. He's like, I'm gonna do what I want, and he just like shitposts all over all the characters that he interacts. He has great like. Even the introduction for him is good. The militaries are like, should we call him in? And the other guy in the room's like, no, he's a loose cannon, sir. And then the head guy's like, remember the this is one of my favorite ones. Like, remember the insurrection in Azerbaijanistan? And then another guy goes, that's not a country. And
they're like,
the head guy goes, exactly.
Which is what led us to the belief that
Robotnik has canonically stopped rebellions and committed war crimes in the name of the
We don't know how many people's revolutions he has silenced before they were able to actually take off. But we know it is a non-zero number.
Exactly. We know it is a non-zero number.
Robotnik would definitely say that would definitely support China over Hong Kong, is what we're saying. Yes, he's a very much an establishment figure.
It's very entertaining how he takes that. There are some like, if anybody in the movie is delivering lines that are like, because outside of him, I feel like the movie goes for very much a kids movie level of like vibe and presentation.
Very much so.
More so than like Detective Pikachu did, although that one had elements of. But it's like it goes for a very kids movie presentation. If anybody in there is making a joke that is like a little bit risque or on the edge, it's Jim Carrey making some like dirty illusion or even it's not necessarily that many dirty jokes. He just says some really weird quips that like are like what
like make you think, oh, this guy's murdered people.
Yes, exactly. But I've seen people saying that it's like classic Jim Carrey, and it is classic Jim Carrey, but I feel like there's just enough of a new twist on it.
Yeah, it's
not just a repeat.
It's like kind of like classic. Yeah, it's kind of like classic Jim Carrey, but sort of with that like Larry the No,
Yeah, no, the cable guy. It's like
Yeah.
it's like how he becomes in the second half of the Cable Guy
Right.
when he goes full
When he goes like full
when he
stalker.
goes full like psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
a little more cartoony.
yeah,
Than that.
the best way I would describe this movie is that it's very much feels like a '90s movie in the year 2020.
Yes.
And in all the good and bad ways.
I feel like it's a '90s movie, but I feel like this movie would have been much worse if it came out in the '90s. I feel like it being out now.
I think the problem would be is that it wouldn't stand out if it came out in the '90s. It would feel like
That's
everything
true.
else at the time.
Yeah. And I do feel like there are some kinks worked out compared to a lot of those '90s. I mean, not that it's perfect. There are a lot of
there's a lot of
quips
issues.
that don't.
There's a lot of joke. Like when the movie is on fire, it is really on fire. When it fails, it really fails.
I mean.
Let me say it like this, like the duds, the problem with the problem with Jim Carrey, especially '90s Jim Carrey, is that like when he's funny, it's great. When he's not, it feels like 20 minutes of fart jokes and agonizing torture.
True, but what I will say is I don't think there's anything in the movie that was like long enough for me to really be.
It's not long enough to be painful.
As befitting of a movie about Sonic the Hedgehog, the pacing is very fast.
Yeah.
So when you get into parts that lull, and this is what I've seen from practically every reviewer, the entire section where they're hanging out in the bar in the middle of the movie, that is a huge lull. But that's probably the longest lull, and I'd say it's maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and even that has moments.
Of fun.
They do the Quicksilver X-Men Days of Future Past thing a couple times.
They do it pretty well. Actually.
Yeah, they do it pretty well. It's not their fault that it's a thing we've seen.
It's not their fault that it's been the
already.
most overused way of displaying speed since Quicksilver.
I do like the fact that the first time they do it, nothing can stop him, and the second time they do it, there's the little twist of Eggman.
Yeah, Eggman is able to use it
because he got one of Sonic's quills to
Also,
power
Sonic
his
goes
machines.
not quite supersonic. He goes Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah,
basically.
I like the third act a lot.
Yeah.
Pretty much from when they encounter Robotnik on the tower, the movie never slows down from that point.
That's when the movie
because
really...
they're jumping through rings and teleporting to places, and it's fun.
You could easily see them using the rings as a setup in a future sequel.
Yes, and they definitely hard tease future sequels. There's a scene where Robotnik is stranded on another world, and he's full bald Robotnik. Oh, also, I didn't realize this until my friend pointed out later. He's talking to that rock in that scene, Castaway style. That's supposed to be his recreation of his assistant, whose name is Dr. Stone.
Oh man, that's what I mean when this movie is there's moments of brilliance and stupidity. It has often the same scene.
Yes, and it has some cringeworthy stuff, but you kind of. I feel like it's fitting of the Sonic series as a whole.
Oh,
which can be very cool sometimes, but also very cringy at other times.
Just look at anything from Sonic from the end of Sonic Adventure 2 onward.
Yeah, and the movie it has those cringy moments, but you kind of accept it because it's Sonic.
Considering that this is Sonic the Hedgehog, this could have turned out much worse.
And we saw a glimpse of the timeline in which it would have turned out much worse.
We got a peek into the alternate timeline where Sonic rejects his humanity, dons the stone mask, and becomes a Pillarman.
The sexual tension between Dr. Robotnik and his assistant, Dr. Stone.
I thought you were going to talk about the sexual tension between Jason Moranis and Sonic.
That is not his name.
Jason Marsden?
It's James Marsden.
James Marsden in Sonic the Hedgehog.
I mean, there's a little bit there, but Dr. Robotnik and the assistant. At one point, Dr. Robotnik tells the assistant, "Pin yourself to the wall," and then he
pins himself to the wall.
And then so Robotnik can yell at him.
Mountains him and yells at him.
There's also this joke is. I hate that this joke was in the trailer
because it was actually
one of the
pretty
best
funny.
in the movie. Jim Carrey's doing his villain dance. And then
he's doing his gamer
Dr. Stone walks up to him with a latte, and he scares him, and Jim Carrey's like, "Ah!" And he's like, I got you a latte, and Jim Carrey just yells, "Of course I want a latte! I love the way you make them!"
Jim Jim Carrey definitely tops in that relationship.
Yeah, serious dominant energy from
very
him
much
his
Tom.
assistant. But that line, it's definitely canon that's because part of his character is he just hates everybody and thinks everybody's an idiot. But I feel like Dr. Stone is the only person he would go to bat for.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't admit it, even if he won't.
Even if he wouldn't admit it, yeah.
There's a bit of a complex character dynamic there.
There is something.
Yes, and there's also a mid-credits tease that also teases sequels. Back to what I was talking about with sequels.
With Tails,
yeah,
right?
I mean, I guess we can just share it. It doesn't matter.
Spoilers! Tails is in the movie!
Yes, Tails shows up in the mid-credits
is this
scene.
the Sonic Cinematic Universe?
And I wouldn't even count the scene with Robotnik looking like Robotnik as a spoiler because
they literally put it in the first trailer.
Has that, and everybody saw that first trailer and was like, "That's an end of the."
That
movie
is an
thing."
end credits.
Yeah,
tease.
it's right before the credits, and then mid credits there's a Tails tease, which is unexpected, I will say.
I'll say a little unexpected. I could have definitely seen them doing that in the first movie, but it being a Skeletor thing where it leads to nothing because nobody watched it. But people were actually watching this movie, so it might actually lead to something.
Yes, thank God they changed the design, or that would just be a tease that leads to nothing, probably. We'd also see a horrifying, monstrous design of Tails, too, probably.
It would probably look like that taxidermied fox.
But yes, I'm glad to say that Sonic the Hedgehog 2020 is pretty good and not as cursed as we all thought it would be. Which, depending on what you were going to see, that may be a downside.
If you're the type of person who likes trash fires, I'm sad to say that this movie isn't for you. It's not a trash fire.
But I'd also say that it's good enough that it's good enough and it has those moments enough that you can still there's still a nice mix of ironic enjoyment and genuine enjoyment coming from this movie.
Definitely.
And I feel like the next one.
It's going to be more genuine.
It's going to be more genuine enjoyment because I feel like this was a.
A launching point.
They couldn't get the budget to go full Sonic World.
They're probably going to go full Sonic World next time, or at the very least, more leaning on Sonic World.
There will be some Earth part, because Tails shows up to Earth.
My guess is that they're going to start doing world hopping things in the next episode.
Which honestly makes sense, because Sonic as a series sometimes takes place on Earth,
but also sometimes takes place on weird Sonic furry world. Oh, we should also mention, there is a scene, we don't ever actually see Sonic's feet, but there's a scene
where he takes off his shoes
close.
And he's got some socks. And
he's got socks with holes in them, and we almost get the most cursed image of all.
Sonic
feet.